Hello everybody, this is emmavoid, and today we're starting a new Let's Play. This game is Necrobarista. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's basically something along the lines of like a semi-animated, what's the word I'm looking for? Visual novel type thing, I guess. Where you work as a barista at a cafe that the dead go to. So yeah, that sounds neat. I'm willing to give that a shot. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Here we go. Oh, we can move the camera around a little. They thought of the faraway grave on the plain. They thought of the comrade who came not again. They lifted their glasses, and sadly they said, "We drink to the name of the mate who is dead." Henry Lawson. It's too bloody damp down here. I know we're underground, but I don't suppose there are any windows we could open. There's a ventilation duct in here somewhere. Maddie, mind opening it up, get some fresh air circulating? Other end's blocked right now. There's a dumpster sitting on top of it. You'll have to grin and bear it. Ooh. Glowy clock. Can we hurry this up? Calm your farm, old man. You're well aware it takes a while to set up. I don't appreciate your tone. Sorry. At the very least, can we turn some lights on? With all the rubbish you've got scattered around the place, I'd like to at least know where I'm putting my feet. Ashley, would you mind? Ooh. Thanks. You're more organized than last time, I see. Practice makes perfect. Hey, Maddie, how much more wire do we need? I think that's enough. Great. Now, Shay? What's up, little bee? I found you a chair. Ah, thank you. So, this whole thing, surely it's not legal, yeah? Maddie wasn't clear on that. Yes, the council found it confronting. For good reason, I suppose. Because it utterly upsets the natural order. Mate, it's not just bureaucracy. Shush you. Most rules can be bent after all. And Maddie has a particular fascination with breaking rules. As I'm sure you've realized. Hey, don't give her all the credit. Is this related to her gambling for time? So, the transfer was the same sort of magic we're doing now, yes. Small scale, though. Doing it on a larger scale requires a bit more preparation. The council successfully suppressed all available information about it, though. For good reason. What happens if something goes wrong? Well, you don't tend to mess it up more than once. Or try it again after you fail, for that matter. Stubborn scholars notwithstanding. What do you even call this sort of magic, then? Question's irrelevant, because it's banned. Extremely cool? Oh, I like her already. That's what I call it. Well, by definition, it's a conduit ritual. But hey, we're among friends, so we can call it what it really is. Necromancy. Oh, I like this already. From your hazy memories, a certain word calls out to you. Necromancy. You tried desperately to remember what it meant. Click. Ah! Death. Time comes for us all. This fragment of a memory stays with you. Piece together the past. Remember what transpired. And never forget, you are scattered. Practice, fascination, bureaucracy, disheveled, blenders, messy, storm, criminals, metal. Oof. That's a lot of words. Oh. Hey, we got some first-person stuff going on. That's cool. Interesting. Oh. Oh. That's really pretty. Press and hold to inspect a memory. Oh. Terminal house rules. Oops. Oh, I unclicked too quickly. Oh, it's going to show them to me. Okay. Maddie's rules. We welcome both living and dead. Patrons will be served in the order they arrived. Don't ask who's alive. It's rude. If someone wants you to know, they'll tell you. The dead have 24 hours to spend within the premises before moving on. Strictly enforced. No, we don't have Wi-Fi. Aw, man! But Wi-Fi! Report broken items and other anomalies to staff. We can't clean up your broken glass or spatial rift if we don't know about it. I mean, yeah, okay. Don't feed the Eidolons. They can't eat, and offering them food just reminds them of that cruel fact. Huh. Alright. Now we can go in. Part 1. The Terminal, Carlton, Victoria, Australia 3053. Excerpts from online reviews. Pretty unremarkable coffee. Barista speaks Chinese, but exclusively uses it to mock people to their faces. I'm very self-conscious about my top hat now. Observed little girl running around cafe with knife unsupervised. Came down with a deep sense of ennui after visiting. Was rudely told to stop being a big dweebus after complaining about burnt taste in coffee. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been such a big dweebus. This coffee's some of the best I've ever had. 5 stars. Disclosure, I have no taste buds. The door closes. Hey, mate. You right? You can see me? Clear as day, yeah. What can I get you? I've been walking around for hours. Nobody was talking to me. I don't even know how I got in here. I think you'll find it was via the front door. Okay. Right. Where am I? This, dearly departed, is the Terminal. Carlton's finest. Departed? They say our coffee's to die for. So, I don't really know how to go about this. Ask me anything, man. You're not the first disheveled dead guy to drop in, and I'm sure you won't be the last. click on that, or is that... Oh. This guy has the look of someone who's been through a lot. Ah. Okay. What does everyone else ask? Oh, they generally ask, what does everyone else ask? Ugh, shit. And they always say that. Then there's the embarrassed silence. Maddie's normally one to enjoy peace and quiet, but some silences are just awkward. Alright. I get it. You make a habit of bullying everyone who comes through, or just the pitiful ones? It's almost exclusively the latter. I guess that's consistent. Always felt like people saw me as a pitiful guy. Sorry, I was actually just kidding there. No, you're right. I'm a fucking sad sack. Boss hated me, family hated me, work sucked. Just like everything else about me. Now I'm never even gonna have a chance to make things better for myself. And that's it. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. Hey, come on. And now I'm sitting in a cafe for dead people, falling apart in front of the barista. Mate, pull it together! Number 1 rule, no breakdowns in the cafe. Please. I promise, man. You're okay. I know how it is. Are you dead? No, and I don't know if you read the rules outside, but... God, I did. Yes, can't even get that right. In that case, you'll also have read that you have 24 hours left before you gotta move on to the next place. And I don't think you want to spend them having one big, long, extended panic attack. 24 hours? Ah, shit. What I'm saying is, everything's okay. Just take some deep breaths. We'll sort this out. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a fuss. Cafe's empty. It's not like I've got anything else going on. Don't worry about it. Are you sure? I'm kind of a burden. You're not. Promise. Chin up, mate. Let me tell you about the building. It's got some cool history. So, first time I came here was about 4 years ago. And that's why you should never, ever serve a martini to a dead biker, even if he specifically asks for one. Sounds like a great story. Out of all the possible ways to react to that, that's one I certainly didn't expect. Yeah, no point in seeking eternal vengeance if you're gonna have to leave in a few hours anyway. It kinda strips it of meaning, you know? There's no way to tell whether you'll even care once you cross over. But then again, maybe I'm just being a buzzkill about it. Shouldn't go around policing people's reactions to things. I'm, still wrapping my head around all this. Death, that is. Feels weird to say it, doesn't it? Weird. Yeah, that's the word. So, you said most people don't ever find out how they died before they pass? Even if they got murdered or something? Yep. Most people don't die from murder. It's mostly sickness, or old age, or lawnmower accidents. Well, they call them accidents, but really, loads of lawnmowers are possessed by evil spirits. That's sad. Alright, hold on just a moment. You can't just drop that and move on. Possessed lawnmowers? Seriously? Anything with spinning blades attracts them. Garden equipment, blenders, power saws, blenders? People scoff at the idea of a robot uprising like we haven't spent decades arming our machines with blades. No! Oh, and power saws. They're a real pain in the arse. Gotta do at least 1 or 2 exorcisms a month on the coffee grinder. That's wild. So, I know I'm breaking the rules again, but how many people in here are dead? Yeah. It's a cafe for dead people. Does that mean it's everyone? Or are some of these people just really into ghost cafes? A little column A, little column B. Plenty of mortals come through, but this is one of the only crossing points in the country, so we get a lot of your type. It's also why the rent is so high. Landlords, the original rent seekers. Ugh. Because those vampires who own the place know we get a lot of foot traffic. Literal vampires? No, like boomers. Landlord class. Same thing, I guess. So, to answer your question, there are 9 customers in here right now. Out of those 9, yourself included, I'd say 4 or 5 of them are just passing through on their way to the next place. How can you tell? Once you've worked here for a while, you get a sort of sixth sense for this kind of thing. Gotcha. Speaking of sixth senses, I've got one for trouble. You have 2 sixth senses? Hey, look who it is! Hello, Ashley. Ashley had adopted the cafe staff a couple years back, much in the same way that a puppy adopts a squeaky toy. She was the kind of ferociously smart kid who absorbed information like a sponge, but only used it to cause trouble. Today, she was accompanied by the stench of motor oil and brought with her a look that said, "I'm an invincible genius." Ashley has fancied herself a genius ever since the day that Maddie invited her to become a spunky sidekick. Amazing. Oops. There we go. She was mostly right about that one. Alright, I know that look. Spit it out. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Cut the crap, kid. What are you after? I'm busy dealing with a customer. I'm not really needing any attention. Shut up, Keishan. I need an extra pair of hands, and none of my Ashlings are around to help. Don't you have any clamps? We got you a bunch for your birthday last month. Aging a year just means you're 1 year closer to death. An odd thing to celebrate. They're all being used for other very important things. They were not. Pretty sure I saw one on a table upstairs earlier. No, I really need a helper. Ashley, I'm busy. Please? Hey, I could probably... I could... Come on, Ashley, you've got to let us work. I'm not going to get anything done down here if I have to keep going upstairs to find the screwdrivers you've misplaced. Trying to improvise a screwdriver is a good way to end up with stripped screws. Use the right tool for the job. What? Hey. No dice. What about Shay? He can help me. But what about... He's emptying the dishwasher. Sound familiar? It should, because I told you to do it an hour ago. Oh. It's really no trouble. Oh. Why don't I take this guy? Only thing he's busy with is being dead. Hey. Come on. Ashley, I'm not going to argue with you about this. I'm sure he would rather relax than be bossed around. Also, manners. We've talked about this. You've got to be more respectful in front of customers. Please? I guess it was maybe him. Please! I'm happy to go upstairs. Really, it's fine. I don't have anything else going on. And I'm super dead. I'm cool with it. I'm Keishan, very dead guy. Happy to help. You sure? I can just send her back upstairs. Promise. It's fine. I'd just sit around and be a pain otherwise. Perfect. Come on, peon. In follower hierarchy, peons are 1 level below assistant, 1 level above minion. We've work to do. Ashley wasn't getting enough attention, but with Maddie's newfound responsibilities, some sacrifices had to be made. That meant the kid would just have to occupy herself more often than not. She still felt guilty as hell about it, and... I reckon this place needs more plants. Jesus Christ, Shay! You're gonna give me a heart attack, you old bastard! What's on your mind? Head in the clouds, as per usual. Did I look like I was thinking weighty thoughts? Excruciatingly so. What's going on? Nothing important. Just my resting bitch face. Nope. This one's different. How so? Your facial expression is reminding me of the time you tried to fist fight that cosplayer. Cosplay is short for costume play, and bad things can happen when play suddenly becomes serious business. Oh, the samurai. The one who barged in, waving his gift store katana around and demanding satisfaction after I refused to put 15 shots in his coffee. Weirdly specific. What's it look like? Looks like he just got threatened with 1,000-fold Nippon steel. It's a precious memory, so I remember it very clearly. A mix of deep disgust. People with a high disgust sensitivity seldom do well in a kitchen environment. Somehow, Maddie manages. A whole bunch of derision, and a tiny pinch of pity. Yep, that's me. What a mood. You alright, though? Real talk. I'm fine. I'm actually fine, or let's not talk about it, fine. The second one. Pharaoh. Offer's still open if you'd like to talk things out. In the meantime, sorry. Can I grab that tea towel? My hands are wet. Oh, yeah, here you go. So, did the dishes need hand washing, or... I'm sure I told Ashley to empty the dishwasher earlier. Nah, thing's busted. Door latch won't close. Might call the repairman. Ashley shouldn't wash him by hand anyway. Her arm would corrode, so I did it. Not a problem. She has a metal arm? Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, fair enough. So, like I mentioned, you'll need a repair, unless you want to let Ashley at it. Some people remain stubbornly defiant in the face of planned obsolescence. Replacements are for quitters. I'd call the repairman myself, but our landline stopped working last week. We have a landline? Yes. Ancient technology. An inelegant tool for a less civilized age. Only works when you pay the bill, though. I don't know if it'd be cheaper to get it repaired, or just buy a new one and give Ashley the old one for parts. The costs are pretty close, all things considered. Hey, don't work too hard. You'll worry yourself into an early grave. Hey, you spent 50 years digging holes. If you want to see a lot of Earth, you can become a globetrotter, or you can pick up a shovel. That sounds like pretty tough work, old man. Ow, old man. For your information, I'm barely, 170-ish. I'm failing to see the inaccuracy. It was during a literal gold rush. Everyone was doing it. Only thing different about me is that I eventually started digging up things more interesting than gold. Only kind of gold I'm interested in is brown gold. Coffee. I mean coffee. Shut up. Hey, so... I know it's just another stress on the stress pile, but I think we need to put in an order for more kitchenware soon. Yeah, another thing that costs money. We're beginning to run out of cutlery, though. Summary of Offenses Act 1988, Section 11C. A person must not, without reasonable excuse, proof of which lies on the person, have in his or her custody a knife in a public place or school. Huh. It keeps disappearing. Not sure where. I don't know how long it can wait before we get more. Oh, little robot friend! Don't know if we can afford that this month. Just, you know, everything's a bit too pricey right now. Doesn't help that the coffee cartels keep pushing prices up. I don't think the importer is part of a cartel. They're quite nice. I've seen photos of their kids. You ever spoken to them? They're obviously criminals with the prices they charge. The worst kinds of criminals are the kind who operate within the bounds of legality. Oof. Wholesale my arse. And yet we keep buying from them. Well, yeah. The beans are good, man. It's just everything else on top of them that's stressing me out. Yes. I'll happily accept the blame for some of that. It's fine. You don't have to. I know it's all on me. I've just got to figure out how to pay everything off. Everything. And everyone. The shitty Council of Death and the doubly shitty time debt we owe to them are the last things I want to think about right now. I've lost enough sleep over it already. Hey, I'm here to help. I'm worried about you, you know? You've had a lot of responsibility dropped on you in a very short period of time. Maddie's been saddled with great responsibility. She's still waiting for the great power that's supposed to come with it. And I can't help but feel a little bit culpable for that. I know. Yeah. I know. And you... I can't thank you enough. Shh. It's alright. Hold yourself together. We'll figure it out as a team, just like we always have. I just don't want to deal with it, you know? I get it. And I don't want you to feel like I'm imposing or interfering too much. I know the cafe is yours now, and even though things are a bit much at the moment, I know I keep saying this, Maddie, but I don't know how much time we have to deal with all of this before things start falling apart. Things are already falling apart. But you're going to have to face reality at some point. You know that, right? Che! Oh my god! Yes, I know! I don't need any more reminders from you. Back off, man! Council's always on my mind. I can't escape them. My best is all I can do, okay? Just because you're my best friend, and my old boss, and my mentor, doesn't mean I need you I need you preaching at me about how I need to deal with my problems. Because they're my problems now, not yours. Alright. No worries. I'll give you some space. Might go check on Ashley. You seen her recently? She's upstairs. Dragged a customer up there talking about clamps or something. I'd better go rescue them then. Be back in a bit. Oof. She's under a lot of stress. Shit. He's right, isn't he? We really could use some more plants. So, we're gonna strap a big old steak knife to it and make them fight each other. Oh, I love her. I love it. This is gonna be great. I want to build something that gets put on that TV show, Battle Royale, with flamethrowers on it.
You're not gonna put one on this little guy, are you?
A flamethrower? Probably not. But I want you to record the fight on my phone so we can send it to the producers. Producers have a real thirst for schlock.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, let's get this knife attached.
Pass me those zip ties.
Zip ties.
And the knife.
Knife.
And my coffee.
Are you sure? Who even gave you that?
Coffee! Damn it. It's empty. My coffee's empty, Keishan. The world is beginning to vibrate?
Maybe it's good that your cup runneth empty, yeah?
I think my cup needs to runneth with more espresso in it.
How many shots did you put in there?
Too many, Keishan! But did anyone ask Icarus how many shots of espresso he had? Yeah, I'm reading a book about Icarus.
Imagine being Daedalus, watching your son die doing the exact thing you told him not to do.
He flew to the sun. I'm cultured. In unrelated news, I have a headache.
I think you might want to read a little more about Icarus. There's a twist ending to that one.
I'm holding a knife, Keishan. No spoilers!
No spoilers. Promise. Alright, Shay. Just say hi. Try not to get a knife slung at you this time. You got this. Hey, kids.
Ah! Intruder! Keishan, my buddy, my pal. Did I get him?
No, you missed.
Damn it.
But, wait, you threw it on purpose?
Extremely on purpose, yes.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, it's just you.
Would it have been worse if it was someone else?
Probably. Unless they were an actual spy come to steal my robot designs. You never know who might be watching. Then it would have been good. Hey, I think I'm crashing. Wow.
Oh no. Is she okay? Did I kill her? She'll wake up in about 15 minutes with no ill effects. Yeah, but you probably shouldn't give her any more coffee. She turns into a real goblin. Not to be confused with the days when she's just a regular gremlin. Oh. She told me that it'd make her immeasurably powerful. I mean, she's not wrong. But, you know, great power, great responsibility, yada yada yada. She's 13. Kid's got plenty of energy already. Maybe not the sense of responsibility, though. Yeah, I don't even know how I ended up sitting here attaching knives to robots. She's very convincing? Ashley's persuasiveness is a mystery. It clearly can't be logic, eloquence, or charisma that causes people to do her bidding. You don't have to tell me, mate. She basically lives here. Her parents would kill me if they found out she'd nearly killed me. Pretty good blind throw, though. She makes me proud in the weirdest ways. Huh. Did she learn from the best? Pfft. She did, but the best definitely wasn't me. Maddie's pretty deadly with knives. Loves her flashy tricks. Bad habit, probably. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm being very rude. My name's Che. I used to own this place. Now I just sort of sit around and cause trouble and sometimes have knives thrown at me, I guess. I'm Keishan. And I died today. Oof. Well, that was a whirlwind.
Hey! Ah! I'm alive! I'm alive! Oof, we got a loud one here.
Oh, be nice. You know it's scary waking up.
Big lights coming towards me!
I think it's reliving its last moments.
Looks like it. What is happening?
Hello.
I do not remember having this many limbs. Join the club, pal.
We are reborn in a new image.
I see.
I'm Kepler. Nice to meet you.
And I'm Jacoby. I am undefined.
I don't know if that name will stick.
Its body is made of a milk carton. Should we just call it milk?
No, too basic. Imagine if you called me Goon because I'm made of a goon box. I wouldn't like that at all. Ashley was yelling about someone called Loveless the other day. That's a good one, I think.
How does our new friend feel about it? Acceptable?
Excellent.
Nice to meet you, Loveless.
Alright, robot friends. Cool. Look at you, turning into a responsible human being. Oh. During intermissions at the end of episodes, you can freely explore the terminal. Memories are scattered throughout the terminal that dwell? I'm not sure that's a word. Dwell and delve. Huh. Into the tales of its patrons. More locations and memories become available as you progress through the main story. Huh. Well, that was weird. But yeah, let's take a look around. Ooh. That's not what outside looked like before. Maddie was about to leave the counter when an old-looking man pushed the door open. He was hunched over, and he walked with a bit of a limp, and even at this distance she could see the leathery texture of his skin, a testament to many years well lived. Maddie had been about to leave the counter to Che, but there was something in the way the man walked that made her want to stay long enough to see if he had any special requests. She wasn't sure if she would like the man, and in fact she was fairly sure that there was a good chance that she wouldn't have much to say to the man, or much that she would be interested in hearing from him. But it was obvious that the man had paid his dues, and she felt that she owed him at least a few moments of her time. Even if he hadn't done anything in life worthy of admiration, he had at least done enough to earn her respect. It was only when the man sat down that Maddie saw that his skin was cracked, but not wrinkled. His body had been aged, but had been aged by the elements and the sun more than it had been aged by the passage of time. The slight limp in his step could have easily been the limp of a young man who had spent one day too many lifting loads that were 1 kilo too heavy for him. He took the seat directly in front of her. "Is there food here?" Apparently the man was more interested in finding out what was on offer than figuring out where he was. Maddie kept herself from visibly smirking. There was something she liked about guests like that, people whose only question was what was on tap. Maddie glanced at Che. He gave a nod of assent. Yes, Che was willing to play the role of grill master today. "We do serve food," she said. The man squinted up at the menu above him. "My eyes don't work too well in this light," he said. "Got a paper menu?" Maddie reached under the counter and pulled out a menu that looked just as aged as the man sitting in front of her. Its scars were from coffee stains, not cuts, but as she watched the man hold the menu, there was something about the combination of the two of them that felt right to her. The man stared at the menu for a good deal longer than it must have taken him to read everything on it. He finally spoke after a long considered pause. "Do you suppose it would be a problem if I were to order something if I didn't intend to actually eat it?" "That's not the kind of thing that would offend me," said Maddie.
Actually, it was exactly the kind of thing that would offend her. Yet, there was something in the way that the man asked that made her feel like whatever reason he might have for not eating food he was served, it would be a good one, and she was half interested to find out what the man's reaction would be. "I'll have the grilled halibut," he said. "Ah, halibut," said Maddie. She understood. Many people enjoyed the concept of grilled fish more than they liked it in practice, and if this man knew himself well enough to be upfront and honest about that, she could respect that. "I can't promise that it's never been frozen. I hope that's not a problem," she said, sure that it wouldn't be. "Sounds like my kind of fish," said the man. "Best halibuts swim in cold water. Ain't a problem if that water happens to be in solid form after the halibut passes." She nodded to Che, who nodded back and headed back to the freezer. The man placed both of his hands on the counter and folded them. There was something serene in the way that the man sat there, with no inclination to glance around and inspect the cafe he was in, no nervous movement in his legs, no strained expression on his face to express that he was waiting for something to happen. He looked so calm that Maddie almost didn't want to disturb him, but she chafed at the idea that only squeaky wheels were deserving of grease. Some wheels were just too polite to ask. "Do you want a drink while you're waiting on that?" "I don't think I need a drink," said the man. "All right," said Maddie, picking up a whiskey bottle and placing it in his field of view, a reminder of what he was free to ask for. The man squinted. "Is that Jack Daniels?" "Indeed it is," said Maddie. The man's shoulders rose a bit in what looked like barely a chuckle. Got a fondness for that particular drink?" "It's just that we share the same name," said the man. "I'm Jack Daniel. No relation to the distiller. I had several friends who took it upon themselves to check. As you might imagine, I've seen a lot of those bottles over the years. It's the kind of gift that people enjoy giving you when you have a name like that." "Is it a gift that you enjoyed receiving?" "It's always a pleasure to receive a gift," said Jack. "It's nice to know that you have friends who care about you and think about you." "Is it a gift that you enjoyed consuming?" "I had a shelf in my flat where I collected them, waiting for other people to come so I'd have an excuse to open them." "Ah," said Maddie, picking up the bottle and placing it below the counter. Sorry if I brought up a bad memory." He laughed. "Where's the bad memory? They're good to receive from friends and good to share with friends. It's a reminder of the people who I was close to and the things I did with them. No need to apologize for that." Maddie smiled. She was beginning to find that she liked Jack, and it seemed like Jack was the kind of person who liked her, if for no other reason than that he liked people, and Maddie was people. She chuckled with him, and she enjoyed the chuckle so much that she almost missed Jack's momentary sideways glance, an unguarded moment when his mind seemed to be on something other than what he was talking about. It was only an instant, but it was a flicker of pain that she'd learned to recognize over the years. There was something in him that was hurting, even as he remembered his friends. A sense of loss, a regret about something left unsaid. Maddie wasn't sure. Whatever it was none of her business. But she wanted it to be her business. "Well, anything you want, just ask," said Maddie. "Cup of water, warm glass of milk." "Warm glass of milk? How old do you think I am?" Maddie shrugged. 5 or 6, just the right age to drink a tall glass of milk before being shooed off to bed at 8 o'clock in the evening. "I'm just barely older," said Jack. "But if I do want that glass of milk, I guess I know who to ask." Alright, guess that's about it. Interesting. Just a random story. The Fisherman 1. Oh, so there's probably going to be more stories about that guy. Alright, cool. Let's see what else we can find around here. Lamington recipe. Authentic Australian lamingtons. Ingredients: 200 grams butter, 1 cup caster sugar, 5 milliliters vanilla extract, 3 malleefowl eggs, 500 grams self-rising flour sifted, half a cup of milk, 2 cups shredded coconut, icing, 4 teaspoons sugar mixed and dissolved in water, a quarter cup cocoa powder, 100 grams butter, half cup of water. Also needs a convection oven, a lamington pan, 3 centimeters deep, 20 by 30 centimeter base, baking paper, an electric mixer, a lamington. What is a lamington? Possible substitutions. Chicken eggs can be used in place of mallee-fowl eggs. If electricity is not available, whale oil mixers can be used instead. It is strongly hypothesized that a homunculus made with lamington DNA could be used in lieu of an actual lamington, but no confirmed tests have been confirmed due to the lack of success in producing actual homunculi, especially homunculi capable of baking. Instructions. Grease the lamington pan, line it with baking paper. Use electric mixer, beat butter, vanilla, and sugar until airy, add eggs to mixture. Have your lamington stir flour into mixture and add milk. Have lamington pour into pan and smooth. At this point, you may dismiss your lamington, they are no longer needed. Bake for 30 minutes. Make the icing, boil water, combine ingredients, beat until smooth. Apply icing coating 1mm thick and sprinkle coconut. Repeat until all icing and coconut have been used. Note that it is not necessary to have a lamington perform this step. Tips for procuring a lamington. Any recently departed lamington who comes into contact with 40-60 mixture of vanilla and coconut will begin to glow red. What? Note that a 30-70 vanilla coconut mixture will cause them to glow green. What? The 30-70 mixture can be used in the case of potential lamingtons who have particularly flushed cheeks or otherwise difficult to identify by a red glow, but this is generally discouraged as the effects can persist for several hours and can often be unsettling to guests. Only around 20% of people who claim to be lamingtons have actual lamington ancestry, hence the need to test potential candidates. Lamington, okay, so... ancestry. Be particularly skeptical of anyone who claims to be directly descended from either a lord or lady lamington. Lamington pretenders uniformly claim to be descended from a former lord, leading to the overwhelming of these claimants being false positives. Most lamingtons were agricultural workers, so anyone claiming to be descended from a farmer of Lamington is more likely to be credible, but should still be tested to verify authenticity. Do not bother testing anyone claiming to be descended from the 3rd Baron of Lamington, as Victor Alexander Brisbane William Cochrane Bale died childless. Gluten-free option. Having a lamington stir self-rising flour into the mixture is critical to the synthesis process and will not work with a non-gluten alternative. That feel when no gluten-free option. I mean, okay. That is so weird. It's very entertaining though. Oh, hey! Ashley's Journal 1. Battle Royale Robots Power Rankings. Windlass. When I first saw the name of this bot, I thought it was styled to be like a girl who could run control storms and run like a ninja, a real lass of the wind. Or maybe the girl of the elements, someone with the ability to become the wind itself. If I were a windlass, I would vanish in an instant whenever Maddie appeared. She would look around and say, "Where's Ashley?" And I would be right there, but she wouldn't notice it, because I would be one with the wind. Then, when she left, I would fade back into the room like a ninja. This would only work outside and in the rooms that are really breezy, so I would probably set up fans in the workshop to make it really drafty. Then I looked it up online and learned that windlass is actually a fancy name for a winch used to pull anchors up, which at first made me think this bot was lame. It works by hooking its arm under the enemy bots and pulling it up to flip them over. It never even tries to smash the other bot to bits or melt it with fire. But then I watched it in action and realized that flipping your enemy on their back to incapacitate him is the ultimate ninja move. Windlass moves like a master, spending the entire match trying to bait its opponent into exposing its weakness. And then, like a ninja master that knows how to jab at exactly the right pressure point on the back of the neck to make her enemy's head explode, Windlass grabs the enemy bot by the one part of it that happens to be sticking out at the wrong time and flips it onto its back.
No, most bots only have wheels or legs on the bottom, not on the top, so when you flip them over, they're totally helpless and the match is over. To avoid this happening, make sure to put wheels on the top as well. When I make a bot like Windlass, I'm going to call it Badass, because that's what it is. Oh, I love her. Amazing. Alright, what else we got? Oh, hello. Aha. Thinking about alchemy the wrong way. Highlighted passages from Thinking About Alchemy the Wrong Way by Sophie Cordova. Most study of alchemy throughout history can be categorized as either practical alchemy, that is, alchemy which aims to understand the world only as well as is needed to fulfill certain utilitarian ends, and philosophical alchemy, that is, alchemy which aims to come to a more complete understanding of the world as it is, without prejudice for which portions of alchemical understanding can be wielded to utilitarian ends. In the modern alchemy movement, there has been a tendency within literature to place a greater emphasis on philosophical alchemy, based on the premise that coming to a more complete and correct understanding of the universe is the best way for us to discover new practical methods for the physical use of alchemy. Much of this is based on the modern scientific movement and the post-Enlightenment era. Much like our understanding of theoretical physics gives us more accurate models of physical reality which have real applications in engineering, having a better understanding of alchemy on a philosophical level informs our practice of alchemy. However, it may be that this focus on alchemy which places an emphasis on being correct rather than useful has thrown out the baby with the bathwater. Admittedly, my position here is hardly biased. The fact that practical studies of alchemy have largely been chased underground is the reason that the tome you're reading is self-published, rather than distributed through more official channels. For example, underappreciated in the development of modern alchemical practices is the use of a 5-element model. Early pre-Aristotelian alchemical models were based on an understanding of 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Later, Aristotelian alchemical models separated elements into 4 categories of earth, water, air, and fire. While this model may be more accurate and reflect an evolution of our understanding of alchemy, it seems to sacrifice the more practical separation of elements in a way that better allows us to understand less tangible things. While wood is not an element strictly speaking, it helps for us to think of it as such. After all, juxtaposing wood against elements such as metal and fire makes it apparent that wood possesses certain soul-like qualities that other elements lack, which might prompt us to question what it is about wood that seems to make it behave like a super-element with practical uses beyond the conventional. There's a great irony in the fact that while these kinds of questions eventually led us to discard the 5-element model, the new model no longer allows for the existence of this sort of question to exist in academic literature. This book serves as my guide to asking the wrong questions to arrive at the wrong answers that nonetheless seem to work. It is a book for troublemakers and rule breakers. Indeed, the fact that you hold this book in your hands right now is probably evidence that you have broken several rules to acquire it. That, or you are a rule enforcer tasked with destroying my work, who for some reason has decided to take the time to read it. Perhaps you are reading my work in search of identifying information, which might lead you to my location, or you are reading to gain a better understanding of someone whom you consider to be an enemy. Perhaps, after reading my work, you will realize that my ideas are not so dangerous as you've been led to believe, or perhaps you will realize that they're exactly as dangerous as you've been told. Okay, so, alchemy. Necromancy is a thing, alchemy is a thing. There's a lot of things in this setting. But also, it's 3033, I think it said? Or something like that. Well, we can't go upstairs. Well, shoot. Oh. Crucible product reviews. Spirit-resistant quartz crucibles with self-sealing lids. Product description. Heat-resistant up to 1650 degrees Celsius. Self-sealing lids form airtight seals around the crucible's ground rim. Highly resistant to corruption and spiritual interference. Clear inner and outer covering allow for easy spotting of cracks or imperfections.
quality suitable for mixing potions and filters. Huh. Average rating 3.5 stars out of 5. Product reviews 5 out of 5. I love this. The covering, despite being quartz, has a textured appearance that gives it a silky smooth feel. Most crucibles feel sterile and cold, but this one makes for a perfect beverage container when entertaining guests. That sounds like a bad idea. The previous crucible set I used was inherited from my grandmother, who brought them over from New England. Unfortunately, 2 months at sea were not kind to her spiritware, and her crucibles were filled with tiny cracks and microfractures that allowed unsightly-looking soot to build up, leaving them stained with hard gray lines everywhere, looking like they were about to crack apart at any moment. She used them for several decades to come, but every time I worked with her and watched them heat up, I was afraid they were constantly on the verge of shattering. One she used to contain a lost wayward spirit for several days before finding a home for it, and I would get up at night to check the embers under the crucible, and it always unsettled me seeing how fragile the container was. Several times I found myself tempted to tip the crucible over, just to see how easily it would shatter under my soft touch. Needless to say, this new set is much nicer. They're sterile, and I can keep several of them in my bathroom without feeling unsettled by their presence. Two of the crucibles in my set arrived with small chips in them, but I contacted the manufacturer and they replaced them at no charge. The replacements were express shipped, and the process was quick and painless, so great customer service, and they offer replacements up to 1 year. For the price, they can't be beat. 4 out of 5, owned mine for 2 weeks and it didn't crack, decent for the price. 5 out of 5, received mine in the mail this morning, can't wait to try it out, so glad to have finally found someone selling crucibles at a reasonable price. A brand name one costs over $200, which is just outrageous. Ugh, no kidding. 1 out of 5. Bought this several weeks ago since it was the cheapest crucible on the site, advertised as spirit resistant. I'm working on a filter for my graduate thesis and purchased 100 of these for lab use. Oh no. My plan was to monitor 100 different animal spirits over with different types of plant matter and compare how different biomaterials affected their vigor over a 90-day period. The first day, I set the first 5 with samples of mugroot, feverfew, ginger, ginseng, and golden seal. I placed them in the crucibles over low heat, 80°C, and left them overnight, and over the next 2 days did the same with all the remaining crucibles, finishing on a Friday and leaving the lab alone for the weekend. When I arrived back on Monday, I knew that something was wrong when I noticed a rain cloud hovering over the door. It's not uncommon for rain clouds to appear at any time of year, at any time of day in our part of the country, but it's quite another to find a rain cloud localized entirely within the hallway of your research lab. I braced for the worst, but I guess I should have braced harder. Nothing could have prepared me for the smell when I opened the door. I immediately felt my eyes watering and actually found myself choking, it smelled so bad. I slammed the door shut and went to the basement to grab one of the emergency respirators we keep down there. Fortunately, the respirator did little to mask the terrible stench inside of the lab. Oof. I opened the first crucible and saw that it was filled with a tar-like substance, and as I studied its inky black writhing form, I felt the air sucked out of me, almost like it was trying to drag me into the abyss with it. I threw it onto the floor and the container shattered, splattering the floor with the tar-like substance, which began slowly crawling across the room. I grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall and sprayed the tar until it was completely covered, and heard what sounded like a sputtering noise followed by a long gasp and a scream that faded into oblivion. After poking at the fire extinguisher spray, whatever was underneath was clearly quenched. I took the remaining crucibles and placed them in the oven, baked them at a temperature of 1600 degrees for several hours, as I sat alone in the lab contemplating the cruelty of existence and wondering what my academic advisor would have to say about my thesis project. After several hours of waiting, I opened the oven, checked the contents of the crucibles, revealing nothing but ash. Whatever it was that had been drawn by the spiritual emissions of my lab work, it was gone from my world, but the memory of that day will haunt me for all the remaining days of my life. 1 out of 5, do not buy this crucible for spirit-related applications. My wife is one of the product designers who worked on this item. The crucibles in this listing come from a manufacturer called Mars Security LLC. Back in 2013, they were some of the best hardware you could get for your money and earned a reputation among hobbyists as great value for anyone working on a budget. In 2016, they did a survey, found that fewer than 3% of buyers were actually using their crucibles for spirit-related applications, and decided they could cut costs by removing the spirit-resistant properties. No. However, they found that products advertised with updated ad copy to reflect this didn't sell as well, so they continued using the old product description, which advertises it as spirit resistant, with the new product line, which is not spirit resistant. Oof. I don't know how they are getting away with this. Apparently the definitions of what is actually spirit resistant are legally murky, and the number of people affected is small enough that they continue to sell well. Stay far, far away from this one, and warn anyone you know of who might buy an item like this that it does not work as advertised. 5 out of 5. Nice color! Oh, amazing. I love it. That was great. Alright, so I think that's enough for today's episode. I think we found everything in here. Next time, we'll come back, chat with Maddie, continue on, and ooh, these tasty looking baked goods. Anywho, if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, all the other usual YouTube garbage, check down in the doobly-doo, etc., etc., and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody!